Hello and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Führerreich, the new update. Belgium has got some tweaks to it, like a focus tree. And I thought, well, as I have worked on Belgium myself, I'll show you how to get Leon Degrelle as a leader, so you don't have to look in the game files for it. So the first thing that's gonna happen around this date, in February, King Albert dies in an accident. So what this will do is just Leopold III becomes king, and then you can move on from this point to the next. Now, the next thing that's gonna happen is Queen Astrid, the wife of Leopold III, will die in a car accident, in a suspicious car accident. So an investigation will start into this case. Basically, this is an event chain that will set in motion the things that will eventually lead to, well, the political troubles in Belgium in Führerreich. Now, this is the next event. Basically, this event determines whether the killers of Queen Astrid are caught or not. You can choose either thing, but you have to know that what you choose has influence on which way, or the way you have to get Leon Degrelle back. So if you choose the first thing, you'll have to choose other things on other events than if you choose the second. The first way I'll show you is, so the Krijgswet, as it is called here. The Krijgswet passes in Parliament, do everything to catch the killer. This means that the killer will be caught. This is actually the, I think, I don't know, it's the easiest way? Yeah, it's the easiest way. But I think you get more political power in the other one. I'm not sure. So we'll have to pass this. And so you can see that the killer is caught, and it turns out it were those damn socialists, so they will lose some popularity. People will get angry in Belgium, especially Leon Degrelle. And so the next thing is the Valkist Manifesto. It is basically the first time we meet Leon Degrelle in Führerreich. He writes a manifesto describing his ideology and such things. If you have chosen the killer path, and you have to do the not so logical thing here, instead of ideas like this should be encouraged, which gives more popularity for the Valkists, Leon Degrelle's ideology group. No, instead you should ban the article, because that means he will now go and be very angry and march on Brussels, and that's where he gets his popularity from. And so here we are with the march on Brussels. This is basically Leon Degrelle being very angry and such things. They protest against the recent enactment of the Krijgswet, new Valkist movement and stuff like that. Yeah, so they're very angry. And here you have to choose the second option. Let them protest peacefully. So what this will mean is, when the elections eventually occur, the events that you have chosen will kind of make the Valkists popular with the people, so more people voted for the Valkists, so you can actually choose them. If you haven't chosen any of the things I've said, then they'll not appear on the election screen. So we'll see you in a few months with the elections. So the elections are in May. So see you then. Okay, so now the election results are in, and the king will start negotiations to who shall form the government. Now I'm gonna show you this in real time, hopefully, because an event chain will pop up. Okay, so as you can see, you have three choices here now. And the last choice is actually the Leon Degrelle choice. So other coalitions have failed, and the far right will lead a minority government. And then you can choose Leon Degrelle. As you can see, we have changed party flag, and yeah, okay. We have changed party flag, and we have this focus tree is now opened up. So this was the first path towards Leon Degrelle. I'll now show you the second path, which is, I think, better in terms of the popularity he gets, which is important because in one of the focuses you remove VDNAZO and Vlaams Nationaal Verbond from, so the VNV, from your coalition, and basically you need coalition strength to, what is it, political power and stuff like that, yeah. So the other path is actually better, you lose less political power if I'm correct. And overall it's better, I think, but if you want to do this path, it's perfectly fine, it's just not as efficient. So we are back here now with the Krijgswet choice, and this time the Krijgswet fails. The bill fails. Instead of Leon Degrelle getting angry, now the king will get angry, because the killer of his wife is never caught, so he will be very angry. As you can see, the investigation hits a dead end. What this means is Leopold III is frustrated. He couldn't pass the Krijgswet in Parliament, so he's frustrated with Parliament. So tensions with the government will be rising and stuff like that. So the nation enters a state of mourning. So the next thing that will happen is the king summons the Prime Minister, Paul van Zeeland, basically to shout at him and be very angry because everything he wanted to happen failed and the killer is not caught and stuff like that. Basically the king and his authoritarian democrats, the monarchistische partij, Parti Monarchist, becomes more influential and stuff like that. The people see how the king is reacting and stuff, they feel with him. So that will lead to certain events. So now the important stuff begins, because now is another event chain. The king is angry with the prime minister and his government, so the king uses his influence to start an investigation into the prime minister, into Paul van Zeeland. This is important, because you have to make two choices here, which determine whether or not Leon Degrelle will come into the picture or not. So the first thing you have to choose is who will lead the investigation, and it is important that you choose Hendrik de Man, the first option, because he is more skeptical of Paul van Zeeland. Paul Hymans is a liberal, while Hendrik de Man is a social democrat. Well, actually, in this thing, he can become a vanguardist. Where is no, national collectivist. Sorry, it's not called vanguardist anymore. So you have to choose Hendrik de Man. Then the next thing you'll have to choose, if it pops up, yeah, the next thing you'll have to choose is so the prime minister has certain rights. You can't just open investigations into him. So you have to come with one concrete, or you have to come with concrete evidence that he is not so good as he says he is. So here it is important that you do not request a warrant for a house search, but you take a look at his financial record. So the second choice. This will reveal that he is actually I think in real life he had offshore accounts in Panama, if you can believe it or not. So yeah, you have to choose the second choice, and then what will happen is he will be discredited. Yeah, so you see the Prime Minister is involved in a scandal. Poor Paul, he had it coming. So you lose some political power, but well, he had it coming. So now we have this event again, the Valkist Manifesto from Leon Degrelle. And this time, instead of banning the article, we should encourage the idea. It's weird, but like, you have to imagine you are playing as the king and you have such a disdain for parliamentary democracy with all that has happened now. So Now you have to encourage ideas like Valkism, which are against parliamentary democracy and stuff like that. So you have to encourage the Valkist Manifesto and Leon Degrelle. So the next thing that will happen is not a choice anymore, but it's basically because you have chosen all the things that you have chosen, Degrelle calls out the Prime Minister, and yeah, this gives an enormous boost in popularity to the Valkists, like 10%, and it changes, or it has a -5 for the Social Conservatives, the party of the Prime Minister. This is huge. This puts Leon Degrelle on the political map here. But there's something else I haven't told you yet, but I'll show you when it actually happens. Now, this time the election results are in, but the king refuses to form a government. This is basically because parliament and government failed to find the killer of his wife, so he refuses to form a government because he is angry. So you lose a lot of political power. So I was actually wrong in saying that that you get more, but you get more popularity for the Valkists in this path. So now King Leopold III and his party is the leading party. And then you get all these events. First thing is unrest in Wallonia. Wallonia is known for its anti-royalist feelings because they are more on the left side of the political spectrum. You have three choices. You can crush their petty rebellion, which will cause a civil war. You play as the king and you fight against Wallonia. You can vive la révolution, then you play as Wallonia, or syndicalist or socialist Belgium, I mean, and then you have to defeat the king. Or you can, or Parliament deposes Leopold III and declares the Republic before war breaks out. So this is the thing you have to choose, because otherwise Leon Degrelle and his party cannot come to power. So you have to depose Leopold III. Belgium becomes a republic. And the next event is again which coalition you should choose, and again you can choose the minority government led by the Führerreich, and Leon Degrelle will become prime minister. You have Leon Degrelle as your leader, and you can see he has way more popularity in this, but I think, yeah, there's not something wrong with this, I think, but yeah, he is way more popular in this event chain than in the other, which can be beneficial, but then you can go on and purge or depillarize Belgium, purge the opposition and stuff like that. So this was it for this short little tutorial. I hope you liked this, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!